Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Star Guitar. My guest this week is Charles Watson. I first became aware of him as one half of Slow Club, the duo he and Rebecca Taylor formed in Sheffield in 2006. They went their separate ways in 2017 after releasing 5 quite brilliant albums. While their music changed over the years, Charles's guitar playing was always really intelligent and tasteful. He's a very classy player, and I really love that band. So many songs of theirs with these neat, unshowy guitar parts or memorable guitar hooks that Charles plays. In 2017, he formed the Surfing magazines with friends from various bands, from the Wave Pictures and others. And a year later, released his first solo album, Now That I'm a River, which was among my very favourite albums from that year, and I recommend that you go and listen to it if you haven't already. Like all my guests, he's had some beautiful guitars over the years, so I wanted to talk to him about them. I went up to his house earlier this week to eat chocolate digestives and find out more about how he came to play the guitar, where he's up to with his second album, and the music he's been making for Mae Martin's new Netflix series. So sit back and enjoy episode 4 of Star Guitar. We are sitting in Charles's living room at the moment, which I've messed up with all my cables and stuff. But there's loads of guitars in here. I can only just see the side of them at the moment, so I'm just trying to work out what they all are. Go right, but I always start going back to the beginning with people. When did you first, well, not even pick up a guitar, when did you first see one? What's your first kind of memory of being aware of them?
My dad was really into Santana, so he kind of just like force-fed us like 60s Santana stuff. So that whenever I hear that one that got used on that M&S advert a few years ago, you know, with the little down 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 down.
Oh yeah. Is that like Como Party or something like that?
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of like the SG, the Yamaha SG years, or it might even be the Gibson SG one. But
is that on a Abraxas?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's the only Santana album I know, really, Abraxas. But yeah.
I kind of can't listen to it anymore because it's just like I've had it too much. But that I just remember being like thinking, oh, that sounds cool. But yeah, I guess also like as a kid in the 90s, like Oasis is always like you kind of that influences pretty much everyone, doesn't it? Who's into guitars at that point?
Absolutely. How old would you have been in sort of 95, 96?
Like 6 or 7.
So, 6 or 7?
Well, my sister, her boyfriend, my older sister, he was really into Oasis, so I think he kind of did the job of an older brother with records.
Okay.
So yeah, I was kind of like a little bit late to the party with like Britpop stuff, but yeah, I remember kind of like being around people that were into it and kind of filtering through a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually that classical was my first guitar, and it's kind of I just play it all the time.
I've seen you use it for sessions and things.
Oh really?
I think so.
Is
there a live recording of you doing is it You Got Your Way of Leaving?
It might be, yeah.
No, Now That I'm a River, sitting in a room with like a tape.
Yeah, that was the video.
Yeah. With a 2-reel tape player.
Yeah.
And is that what you're playing in it?
Yeah. So that's the live audio as well. So my mate Laurie came and recorded it. He's got like a 1/4-inch machine. And yeah, it was just like
it's not. So it's the video for the song.
Yeah.
Because it's not the album version of the music though, is it?
No,
it's just you and the guitar on that.
Yeah.
Video. Okay, right.
So I like music videos that have got different audio. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just nice to see something that's a little bit. It is a session, but it's kind of set up by the band and they're doing it how they want to do it, rather than just going into someone's session and kind of performing on someone else's thing.
Miming it on a stage or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
I'm absolutely shockingly bad at miming.
Just looking at this now on string acoustic now, it's got loads of fretware in it, which is always a nice sign of. It's like a busy restaurant, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's loads of masking tape on it. What's the masking tape for?
So I used to keep this at my girlfriend's house when I was at college. Well, I was at school, and I just sat on it on the bed once, and so it has a huge crack down the middle of it.
Right.
So I just covered it up with tape. It had a huge John Lennon sticker behind the bridge for a long, long time.
What sticker?
It was just a picture of him in like the New York t-shirt with his hair waving in the wind. And,
right.
Yeah, it's just it's just one of those guitars that's just like kind of followed me around a little bit. Like I've left it at people's houses, and it's always one of those. It's like, oh, that's mine. I'm going to take that back again. And it's just nice with a capo, and I've not changed the strings literally for 10 years, and it just.
Do you mind giving us a strum?
Yeah,
Is
sure.
it in tune, do you think?
Probably not. When I got it, it was just way too big for me, and it's still got quite a wide neck, but yeah, it's just all the fret marks are kind of just from me playing a D shape for like 20 years. But yeah, I love it. It's just kind of what I play around the house all the time.
Okay, you can just hit a couple of chords.
It's just got a nice kind of dead tone to it, and
That's obviously the secret, is the dead strings, though. It's a sort of
yeah. I mean, I think I snapped a string on it in about 2008, and then I like just googled how to, because obviously like it's different to doing like a steel string, and just got a pack of strings and just redid the whole lot.
What was the next guitar you got then? And was that because you were taking it seriously that you got another one?
I think I just realised that this was a totally unplayable guitar for someone with tiny hands.
Yeah.
So I managed to convince my parents to let me get a Squier Telecaster, which I still have, but that's in bits in a locker in Tottenham. But it's a really beautiful, like, is it like Daphne blue?
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I went through a bit of a kind of rocking phase in my early teens, so I did that thing that everyone does where they take the pickup out and replace it with Seymour Duncan, because you've heard someone say it's a really good idea, and then you get it in and you're like, it sounds exactly the same, mate. it might actually sound worse. So
it's just a tiny bit louder or something.
Yeah.
So your crappy playing is even louder than it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually really, really love that guitar. But I remember the first time I chipped it as well, and I remember being pretty upset about that.
Yeah.
I can still see it's like here, it's about just above where you put the plectrum underneath the scratch plate. I remember coming home just being like, who has chipped my Telecaster? And then once the first one's in, you don't care, do you?
It's fine. Yeah, the first one's always the worst, and then after that, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So how did you progress from? And who were you? You know, what were you listening to? Were you trying to play Santana then for your dad, or?
I think I got into like Ozzy Osbourne in a big way around that point. There's an amazing photo of me. It's on my Instagram actually, of me with my first band, and we'd like obviously just like finished band practice, and like someone took a picture of us, and we just looked like the weirdest band. But I've got like I picked up like a Jackson Randy Rhoads signature flying V, and it was just like, when I think about like what I was doing at like the age of like 14, it kind of really, really makes me giggle. But it's also like, I can't imagine even stepping out of the house or something like that now. But yeah, me and a few mates we just got into like kind of 80s hair metal for a while. But you're just influenced by what's around you, aren't you? And like I think a couple of my mates' older brothers were really into like Metallica and all that stuff, and it just kind of filtered through where you'd go around and someone would be doing like sweet picking in a bedroom upstairs, and you'd be like, oh my god, what's that? I've got to go up there and see what it is.
I suppose at that age though, when you're 14 or 15, you're just looking for something that's going to stick, right? And you think you find you think you found something, and then 6 months or a year down the line you realise it's not for you, or
totally
that it isn't. So what was the first thing that stuck then?
To be honest, it was probably more on the songwriting tip. I think I was really into playing guitar, and the song, I was kind of just like floating around in people's bands, and then I think I got to probably like year 10 or 11 or something, and just started hanging around with a different group of people that were into like Leonard Cohen and, you know, like Dylan and stuff, and just pretended that I'd never had a Jackson Flying V. And just, you know, just shut the door on that bit of my life. Yeah, I think that was kind of like the start of like liking songs more than like just learning how to like do a solo or something.
So playing is the playing is like a means to an end to be able to write a good song or something.
Yeah, I definitely like focused my time on other stuff rather than just like trying to become fast, which isn't, you know, it's kind of, it's fun to like learn something and then be like, oh yeah, I can do that, but it's amazing how quickly it leaves. I did some shows with the surfing magazines last year, which is a band that I'm in with some friends, and that's quite like guitar heavy. And the first couple of shows, I was like, oh shit, I'm just gonna stay here, and then like all it takes is like a little bit of like a leap, and you get back into it, and I definitely feel like in my brain there's like a finite amount of like musical space, and it's like it's either doing songs or learning guitar, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I think at that point, me and my friends were just into like pretty sad, depressing 70s folk. Yeah.
Did this move into songwriting coincide with you getting in like a fancy acoustic guitar or anything, or a more serious acoustic guitar?
I had a Crafter acoustic for a while, which I used like on the first Slow Club record, which was really nice. It's kind of like, it looked a little bit like a kind of copy of a Martin, you know, those like parlour guitars that have got kind of quite small bodies and like kind of classical headstocks.
Yeah.
I've still got that somewhere. I'm not sure where it is. I think it's with a friend. But that's a beautiful guitar. It's really nice for finger picking. When we first started touring, this guitar I actually got kind of just after we finished tracking the record. This ended up being like my kind of like guitar for years with Slow Club, because it's just got like crazy amount of bottom end, and because we didn't have a bass player, it just kind of filled the sound out. And I got it from the first time I went to Denmark Street. We had a show. Do you remember that venue, The Fly, on New Oxford Street?
Yeah.
We had a show there, and I'd kind of saved up some money, and I kind of knew that there was this like mythical street with like just guitar shops, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna buy a guitar that doesn't work, and that's what I did.
And what is it?
It's an Otwin Rhythm, and I've never actually seen another one of these. It's kind of like I guess it's like a kind of Hofner copy from the 60s. It's like a kind of jazzy looking arch top.
It's like a thin arch top, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got a kind of like floating
thinner
bridge.
arch top. Well, you think of arch tops being like a sort of house brick thing.
Yeah,
but
it's not quite an Emperor or a Century or something, but it's like I used to play with 2 amps. And
running at the same time?
Yeah, well, basically...
It's a stereo chorus or something.
Yeah. I mean, that's not too far from the truth. But, I had... from the heavy metal days, I had a Line 6 flex tone.
Of course you did.
And obviously that's basically got like a pedal board built into it. So I unscrewed the Line 6 badge off the front, and if you look at it from a distance, it doesn't look like a Line 6 flex tone. It kind of looks like a beat up old like transistor amp or something. And so I used to go into that and have like a slap and a delay, and then go out the send. And normally when you send out, it mutes the speaker from, or in my experience it does. And so I was sending that into a twin as well. So I had, the twin was kind of like for the kind of clean bassy bottom end, and then the flex tone was just for like a kind of crunchy slap. And it sounded like, it genuinely sounded really, really cool. And
better than the twin would have just sounded on its own?
So I didn't have a pedal board at this point.
Okay.
So I was just using it for like, because I just had like a nice kind of slap dialed in, and just like, and I was kind of borrowing this twin from a friend, but the spring was kind of a bit ropey, so I was kind of using the digital spring. It's all a big no-no, but it kind of worked for the band because it was like the bottom end was like really like clear, and it just kind of filled out the sonics we were kind of missing. But
were you playing as a duo at this point, or did you have other musicians with you?
Yes. I mean, we do occasional shows with a bass player, like a couple of times a year or something. But we could only really tour as a two-piece, just like financially. It just didn't make any sense to get other people involved. So we could fit like a drum kit, 2 amps, 2 guitars, and an overnight bag each in my car, and we toured like that for years. And then I got like a tiny little like van, you know, like a kind of electrician's van. Yeah. And we started taking a few more bits, and then just started using different bits of gear. And then I think after we toured the first record, we started working with a drummer and bass player, and then obviously like I didn't have to like be super bassy, so I kind of started using smaller amps at that point, because twins, it can be like so loud, can't they? The last couple of years it's been a Princeton 68 reissue and the Champ together. That's nice.
Yeah, I've got a 68 Princeton.
Oh cool, they're lovely, aren't they? Is that silver?
Silverface, yeah. A reissue, not an original, but so it's because I think I want to be Steve Cropper basically. So I've got a blonde 52 telly reissue. Again,
nice.
not an original, and a 68 Silverface Princeton, which, just tremolo and reverb for days.
When I was playing with the surfing magazines last year, like Dave, who's the other guitar player, he has one of those clip-on tuners at the end of his guitar, and he just goes straight in to the front of a twin or a blues tuner or something. I mean, have you seen those guys before?
He's a pretty good guitarist, isn't he?
He's a total freak of nature, that guy.
Yeah.
He's just an incredible like energy to like be around musically, and I was just like, okay, yeah, I could do that. I can just plug in, no problem. Like I'll borrow someone's like plug-on tuner, and it was so much fun just like not having anything at your feet, like being used to like that being a bit of a distraction. Like I'm a bit of a fiddler, like live, if I've got like volume pots and switches and stuff, which is kind of why for a long time, because the guitar I had after this archtop was a Gibson 125.
Yeah.
And
was it a 125T?
Yeah.
It was a thin one.
Yeah.
It took me, I used to see you Sloker play so much, and I could never work out what that was. Because I remember I was thinking, it's a 125, and then you turn sideways and it was as thin as a sort of 335 or something. I was like, I don't know what that is, and it took me years to realise that they did 2 versions of these archtops, and that's what it was.
That guitar is really beautiful. I actually just sold it last year.
Did you?
Yeah, I basically got into the mindset of like, if I'm not using something, I swap it or sell it, and
right. That's an interesting point, but I'm looking ahead of me now, and I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guitars in my direct eye line. So you're saying, 9 guitars and a lap steel, and you say that if you're not using something, that you sell it.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what's going to come up. But so the 125 was like really, it sounded amazing for like one. It was really good for open tunings.
Okay.
So I used to have it either in C or I'd have it like down full step. It's got like this really lush, like rich, like bottom end.
It sounded brilliant acoustic as well.
Yeah. It's a lovely guitar. I just found myself like I wasn't using it for like solo stuff, and I hadn't used it in Slow Club for like probably 2 years before that. So it was just like I won a vibraphone on eBay, and I was like, need to fund this quick. So I was like, I took it down to Denmark Street and and did a sale, and they gave me the cash, and basically I just walked straight back in and bought a Strat. I was just like, what are you doing? You absolute idiot. To be honest, I kind of regret selling that a little bit, just because it was so beautiful. It was such a beautiful thing to look at as well as play.
Where was it from? Like the year?
It was 66.
There was a while. I think every time I saw you play, you seemed to have something different. It was like you move guitars quite a lot and try different things. That Squire bass, I remember seeing you playing at Union Chapel. Was it like a bass 6?
Yeah. I had some labella flats put on it. Cause have you played one of those before?
No, I haven't. No,
they're really, really amazing value. Because they come with round ones, but they're a little bit flabby, and like the bottom ends, it just feels like the strings are too loose. And the guy bought it off, put some flats on it, and it just, if you play like mid neck, it's just super kind of Beach Boysy.
Yeah,
it's Carol Kay kind of vibe, and yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I think that is probably the guitar I play the most.
Really?
Yeah, I love it. It's amazing.
Is that on your album a lot?
Yeah. I didn't tour it, but because I was just playing more of the lead stuff. But I really enjoyed playing that on the last album, like the last touring cycle with Slow Club, because there was a few lines that were put down by the keyboard player when we were in Richmond. He did it on a Mellotron guitar sample. And it's just got this. It's got a similar kind of almost like Morricone style sound to it.
They used those bass 6s a lot. There's a famous choir that used to sing on lots of Ennio Morricone stuff, and the players that used to play. They always used the bass 6. There's an album that Danger Mouse did with Daniel Luppy a while ago.
Oh, cool.
And they rounded up the choir and the players that used to play on those Ennio Morricone records, and even harder than rounding up the 80-year-old musicians to play for them was finding original bass 6 from the 60s, because there's like 30 of them left.
Yeah, they're super rare, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because Glenn Campbell played one on Wichita Lineman, didn't he as well? And
yeah.
I think that guitar sound is kind of like that's the dream.
That's what you want.
Oh, it's so nice, yeah.
Okay, so the two guitars on the end of the rack here. So there's is that Tobacco 335?
It's walnut.
Walnut, sorry,
Yeah.
Tobacco. Let's have that up next. Let me take that off you.
So this is a 79 custom stereo 355.
355, wow.
Yeah. There's a weird story on account. Kind of, me and a few friends were following this on eBay. There's a bit of a joke, 'cause it's like, check this out. It's like, I mean, it's just like so beautiful, and it kept getting relisted, and it kept going down in price, and it's just like, I don't know, just like it was. We were kind of joking about it, and then I looked up the eBay seller, and it was like a second-hand shop in Slough. It wasn't like a guitar shop. It was like a kind of music-y kind of second-hand shop. And I called them up, and they still had it. And I got a tax rebate. And so I just went out there and I was like, would you take quite a bit less for it in cash? And they were like, yeah, okay. And I was like, so I got like an unbelievable deal on it, and I would never normally do something like that, but it was just like, in my head I was like, if I don't buy something like that now, it's just going to get spent on stuff that you don't remember.
Yeah.
So
electricity bills and things.
Well, exactly. I mean, also I was kind of thinking that's not going to go down in price. So yeah. Obviously I don't buy guitars to keep them and not play them, but it just felt like it was kind of too much of a good price not to like do it.
Would you be able to plug it in?
Yeah, sure. All right.
Yeah.
So that's on 6 on oh, sorry 1 on the select switch, which is like the super bassy, like, and when you actually have amps at volume,
Yeah.
you really it's like kind of just way too much. But then when you get the kind of that end of it, they just sound like different guitars completely.
There's an amazing bit on, I think it is the first track on the album. Just 3 or 4 like big shimmering notes that come in after.
On guitar?
Yeah.
That'll be Fife Dangerfield.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he came and played. That's a Strat, just with like loads of top end rolled off with a tremolo. I think he had 2 tremolos going on that actually, because it's got this kind of there's one slow and one kind of fast one going.
Right.
Yeah, he like did some cool stuff. He's one of those people that it just sounds like a record straight away. Like, God, just do something crap just for a minute. Just let everyone feel a bit better about themselves. But it's been really nice actually, because he played loads of guitar on the record, and obviously he's just like improvising the whole thing, and I've learnt his improv parts for like live, so it's nice to kind of get someone else's parts underneath your finger, because I don't really write like lead parts, like it's just something that I've never really done. I'm more of a kind of just chord singing live.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to learn his parts and try and do them while I'm singing, and you just kind of approach your own stuff in a different way.
Well, I was going to ask about the song. Is it "You Got Your Way of Leaving" that you did with the Surfing magazines?
That is, we recorded it, but it wasn't on the record.
Which one's on the record?
Voices Carried Through
the Mist. Sorry. Yeah. So Voices Carried Through the Mist is on both the Surfing magazines album and then a different version that you did for yourself. I was wondering about how hard it is to just not recreate the version that already exists.
It's weird because it was a weird choice to do that, but it was like the Surfing Mags version is like, it's quite dry. It's kind of like 70s Neil Young kind of. Yeah. Everything's quite boxy.
It's very Neil Youngy, isn't it? That sort of down by the river.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And that was, I mean, our kind of mantra for that record was we want to make a record that's better than On the Beach. And so we went to a tape studio in Rochester that's like out the back of a strip club, and we tried to make a record that's better than On the Beach, and we succeeded.
Aim high, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, Dave plays lead on that, and he's really good at like channeling that kind of just slightly like his playing is it's not self-conscious at all. And I really love hearing him play, because it's just like there's just no distance between his brain and his fingers. Yeah. Like, I feel like there's just too much thinking going on with me, and he's just really good at just doing really cool sounding stuff. So I always when I started writing it, I kind of imagined it as this kind of spacey, kind of almost a little bit like Talk kind of sounding song. Not that I listened to that much Talk, but I just kind of had this like weird, like kind of cinematic kind of feel in my mind. And then when we did it, it was completely the opposite. It was super.
It's a very hi-fi sort of imagination, but then like a much more lo-fi. It's a kind of recording.
Yeah, the Surfing Mags version was super lo-fi, and it was one of those things where, because of the way we were making the record, we were doing it really quickly, and which is really cool because there's loads of mistakes all over the record, but it's got this nice kind of, it feels just like it's not polished in any way. And when I did the vocal, I think it's in a different key. It's like a little bit high. It's really dry, and normally I don't really like my vocals dry, but we were in this situation where I was just like, just let go, man. Like, I was just like, I'm not going to say anything. And I was like, should have said something. It was really nice to just kind of make a record like totally not how I have made records in the past. And I that is the most fun I've ever had making music with those guys. Like it was just really quick. It was like 3-4 days in the studio, album done. The touring was just like really basic, just like one guitar straight in. It was just like really like a massive breath of fresh air to just do it how you do it when you're like 15.
Next guitar, I can see. I know a little bit about this one because you told me about it the other week. But this is a Gibson SG that you picked up.
Yeah.
This is. Is it just a light or is that walnut? Or is it?
I don't think it is walnut. I think it's been painted.
Right. Okay. So normally you think of Gibson SG in like the sort of reddy cherry colour, don't you? This is a bit more browny than that.
Yeah.
It's a really nice lightweight thing. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So it's just it's a 2017 standard, and to be honest, I've never been into SGs at all. And when we were touring with the surfing magazines, Dave's got like a late 90s standard.
Yeah.
That is just, you know, those guitars that like not expensive, nothing special, but there's just something about this specific one that's just, if it had been made by a different person on a different day, it would have just sounded completely different.
Yeah.
And it there's something about, I think he's just played it, and it's like, it's always set to one setting, and it just sounds absolutely amazing. And I was always like, can I play the SG tonight? And he was playing a Jazzmaster for a bit, or a Jaguar, or a Jazzmaster, yeah. And the night before we went on the UK tour, he called me up and he was like, I bought an SG, another one. And I was like, okay. He's like, we can both play SGs. I was like, that sounds kind of cool and terrible at the same time. I was like, okay. But so he'd bought a brand
Did he
new
let
one.
you play the? Did he let you play the one he'd had for ages, or did he?
We alternated.
Oh, that's nice.
So he's super generous, but like I think he was like, he really wanted to get another SG because it's all he plays, or he plays it a lot anyway. And I think he just wanted a bit of like another one just in case.
Yeah.
After that, I've just been like, I really love like an SG that kind of plays like his.
Yeah.
And I was on the way back from a festival about 2 months ago. I was driving on my own, and I got stuck in traffic on the A1, and I saw this little yellow sign at the side of the road that said Guitar Fair. And I was like, yeah, go on then. So I pulled off, and it was just like, it was in some sort of like, you know, those like sheds where they sell cattle, and they'd like repurposed it to make a
Barns, I think they're called,
yeah.
aren't they?
But you know, like where there's like a huge big car park.
Yeah, like an auction thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. Like I've never seen anything like it. It was loads of like these like people had bought a Strat body and a Strat neck and built a Strat
Parts casters, they're called. Yeah.
They're amazing because they're probably done to like quite a high spec, but they can't charge crazy prices for them. So there was just loads of stuff like that, which is my like absolute dream, walking in a place and being like, what's that? And
it's got a Seymour Duncan in it.
Yeah. 250, take 500. But I kind of made a deal with myself that was like, okay, I've got a few things that I could sell if I see an SG that's nice and not expensive, and I managed to just find basically exactly that. So, and
how well does it play compared to?
It's not. It's kind of in the middle of like his old one and his new one. So I've not actually used it that much, but it's in OpenSea at the moment. So it's. I don't think it's good. It can't quite hack the bottom end.
It's got a nice drone to it.
Yeah.
With that in that tuning.
Delete that bit.
What was that?
That was a bum note. We don't want people hearing that. I am human. It's almost got a bit of a kind of like Velvet's kind of feel to it, but it's I need to use it a bit more, to be honest, because it's so new.
apart from a little bit of wear on the pickguard here, it's an amazing nick as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially brand new, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like, and yeah, I was thinking about getting a Maestro fitted to it because it's not like an old one that I'm a bit precious about. I was just thinking, on Instagram, I keep getting like pictures of SGs with Maestros on. I'm just like, how are they reading my mind? How do they do it? Actually, another reason why I was kind of got turned on to SGs was we did a support show with Alabama Shakes a few years ago, and we were loading in as they were sound checking, and we watched their sound check from the monitor desk, and that might be like one of the greatest performances I've ever seen.
Alabama Shakes sound check.
It was unbelievably good. Like, their guitars just sounded so cool, and like, because I don't know what the guitarist is called, but he plays like a casino, doesn't he? I think.
Yeah.
And then Brittany plays an SG.
She's got quite a few, but they're all like SG Customs, you know, like 3 pickup. That beautiful turquoise one that she plays and stuff. Yeah.
Oh my god, that guitar! But the way that they play together, she's a completely badass guitar player, isn't she? But they've got this really cool way of. It's almost like they're playing the same part, but they've kind of split it up into different arrangements.
They're completely mashed, don't they?
Yeah, and I remember thinking, oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. But yeah, I've kind of, ever since we saw that sound check, I've just been like, always kind of just thinking, I want to sound like Brittany Howard.
Okay, let's move on. What else we got? That white Strat. Did I see you playing that with Sweet Babu? I think.
Do you know what? That wasn't actually mine.
Oh,
that will have been.
Can we put that back?
Oh, cheers. Our friend Hugh, he's got an Antigua, I think it's like a 79.
Oh, the Antigua burst.
Yeah.
Wow, they're funny looking things, aren't they?
You know what? Like I was never into Strats at all, and I borrowed that with Sweet Babu, and just like totally fell in love with it. And I was just like, oh, I kind of get it now. I understand why everyone's into it. But
so it's a 70 Squire.
This is an 82.
Okay, so this is when Squire were made in Japan, right?
Yeah, I've done a little bit.
Hugely sought after things, aren't they?
I think that this is actually not one of the really sought after ones. This is kind of there's 2 different like versions. I think it's called the SQ, which is like the one that people pay crazy money for. But this is basically when I went in and sold that 125. I popped into the shop after and I was like, oh, that's a really nice cream Strat for like not 70s money.
Not 70s Strat money, yeah.
Yeah, and I just played it. I was just like, it's beautiful. And after like 5, he basically got a really similar one that he used on my record, and I had a few shows booked abroad, and I just thought it'd be really nice to have a guitar that's. I didn't want to fly with the 355, and I've had a few disasters with planes and guitars, so I just thought it'd probably be like a really nice thing to just take away, and it's not super heavy. It's just really lovely, and kind of I hit 30 and I bought a Strat.
People normally wait till they're 40.
I know. It's just like I've started doing my tax returns early, and I've bought a Strat, and my life is in the toilet.
But whatever vintage people say on YouTube, but regardless of whether it's like good or not, it's my favourite look.
I love the 70s
bullet truss rod Strat with a big, like, with a large Strat headstock.
Yeah,
absolutely my favourite.
Yeah, man, it's it definitely kind of took me by surprise a little bit, and I don't know, it's dangerous when you've just sold a guitar, and I'd never normally just walk into a guitar shop and buy a guitar.
It's but why? Yeah, why not? I mean, you are a musician though, it's,
I have used it loads already. Like I can't. It was kind of like my main guitar for the last half of the touring last year, so it's definitely like got a lot of use.
Can we hear it?
Sure. I've kind of never really liked that super stratty sound, do you know what I mean? But like, and it just kind of always responded quite nicely to like a little bit of trance. I think just because it was like it just always cut through.
Yeah.
Even if you had like loads of like effects on, you can still hear the guitar rather than it just getting a bit lost.
So, it's yeah, I know, I love them. Yeah, this is a really nice one as well. It's beaten up a little bit, but just exactly in the right way, kind of thing.
I think I've actually done quite a lot of that this year because I've been flying that and the lap steel together in the same bag, so it's just a bit knackered.
Yeah, you just
Yeah, exactly.
you pick one up and you just immediately want to do that. No, I love it. Yeah.
I mean, I've spent a couple of evenings going down the Knopfler Hall. that was Knopfler, right?
No, that
What
was
was it?
no, that was him. Anya Bird could sing.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
Beatles.
Me and my mate Paul have got this kind of joke that we were making some music last year, and basically like his girlfriend works in the same building as his studio, and we'd been making like ambient music all day, and then we just started like playing Sultans and Swing together on 2 Strats. Then his girlfriend walked in and she was like, "What are you guys doing?"
Is this what you've been doing
Yeah.
all day?
It's unbelievably like inventive, isn't it? Like the way you play.
Yeah. What is it? Is it D minor back to C?
I think it's down to B flat major. There we go.
Yeah, something like that.
I love how we're both pretending that we don't know it really well. Oh, there we go.
Anyway, next record then. Where are you kind of up to with it?
Very, very early.
Embryonic. would you
Yeah,
say?
yeah. I kind of, to be honest, like I kind of didn't really feel like making a record for a while, and just was like, I had a baby at the beginning of the year, so this year's kind of been like, kind of different anyway. But I kind of, it just in the last like couple of months, I was like, I want to make another one. So
Record or baby?
both. But yeah, I kind of I would love to make another one. My plan was to get it written before Christmas, so I'm just trying to grind it out. Like,
You've got about 10 weeks, so you know
Yeah.
you can do that. What are you waiting for?
But I'm thinking, you know, it's not. I always find this like it's kind of, you know, like you tour, you write, you record, you tour, you write, record, and I always find like I spend like the first like 25% of like writing just kind of trying to remember how to write. It's like being fit or something, you know, like when you going for a run or whatever, like the first bit is just horrible because you feel like you just but then it just gets easier, and I think the more you do it, the easier it is. And I'm just in that at the moment. I feel like I've not been in the writing mode for a long time, so yeah, I'm kind of just trying to figure out what I want to do as well, because the last record had such a kind of specific feel to it. I kind of would like to just go in a different direction and kind of see what happens. So I think it'll be quite like similar instrumentation, but I've just been doing lots of kind of drum programming and stuff, and just trying to figure out like different kind of grooves, because when I sit at a piano or I sit at a guitar, I kind of tend to do the same thing every time I do it, so I'm just trying to not do that.
Yeah, you must have to treat it like a job. I know it is your job, but like keeping office hours or something, keeping regular hours to sort of get back into that routine and getting match fit again. Really.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I've done this thing for a while where I kind of like to do like kind of like 8 till midday, and then have the afternoon, and then work in the evening. So I kind of do like 2 things a day. It doesn't always work out like that, but ideally I would kind of just do 2 smaller bits of writing rather than try and do like a 9 to 5 hours. But I don't know. I think it's just it's recognising the signs of like when you're having a day where you feel like you're bashing your head against the wall, like powering through that, because I think often you feel really self-conscious and you're just like, oh, this is just like this actually sounds terrible, and then something will happen where, because you're in that mindset, you might just do something that you would never normally do and then come back to it like 3 or 4 days later, and then I don't know, I just feel like there's lots of sketching, but I kind of wish I was one of those songwriters where I could just sit down and write a song from start to finish. I feel like that's...
Does that ever happen to you?
Yeah, like quite a few times, but like it's, I don't know, like I did that with You've Got Your Way of Leaving, and it just, I don't know, I think it's more fun to kind of like layer stuff up and you feel like you're getting somewhere quick, where really if you write a song then that's the hard bit out of the way. It is just like the boring bit I find.
Yeah, layering stuff's like fanning about with noises, isn't it?
It's great. It's quick, and then you just put it on a hard drive and you just never open it again. Seems to be the way.
So kid yourself that you've done something in the day where you just basically hit the arpeggiator button or something. So you've done the score for Mae Martin's Netflix series, right?
Yeah. So me and Rob Jones did it together. Rob played in Slow Club a little bit a few years ago, and then he mixed my solo record. So we've kind of worked together a little bit in the past, and he plays drums and horns, and he kind of can cover loads of stuff. So when Mae got in touch to ask if I'd be up for it, I didn't really have any like experience with any of that stuff, so it made sense to work with someone who, well, Rob's done it before, so we kind of combined our kind of different...
It made sense to work with someone who knew what they were doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I've learned loads about how to kind of approach picture.
And what format does it take? What is it? What is a series anyway?
It's comedy, so it's kind of like a
sitcom-y.
Yeah. I don't. Maybe you'd call it that. I'm not sure. Like, it's kind of a darkish comedy. Yeah, it is a sitcom, I guess. But
it's not a stand-up special or anything.
It's like a drama. It's like it is a sitcom, yeah. But yeah, it's great. It's really funny.
So incidental music, title music, everything.
There's bits of everything really. It's like when Mae asked, she kind of put me forward for it with her team, and I think because of my inexperience, we did like a kind of 3-day session where we had a few bits of picture, and we're like, okay, let's do what we would do in an ideal situation, like if we were completely left to our own devices. So
Sultans of Swing over the top.
Yeah. Just de-eyed, dry. And it's kind of like it's a little bit kind of like dark synthy kind of stuff with some kind of like dirty 70s drums and quite a lot of this violin bass actually.
Much guitar though, apart from that bass?
Not a huge amount.
Well, we shouldn't really talk about it.
No. It's not called Star Synth.
It's not called Star Synth bass, is it? And when might we hear and see it?
I believe it's out in the spring. So I think that they'll probably start putting stuff out there towards the end of the year.
So Mae is like just a fan of yours or a friend of yours or what? I met her through Rebecca. I think they were friends to start with, and then Mae has just kind of turned up at a lot of shows. Like she's been to loads of my solo gigs, and and just has always been really like supportive and kind of encouraging. And I think we kept running into each other, and she said that she was doing this thing, and I guess that conversation kind of started a few years ago, but she really like made it happen. So it was kind of it was really like an amazing opportunity to kind of just use music, but in a totally different setting to making records. So I've learned a lot of shit about just like how to approach stuff in a different way.
Okay, there we have it. It was quite a long one. Believe me that it was double that length before I started editing it. Charles likes talking about guitars as much as I do, so once we started, we didn't really stop. And please can I also apologise for my guitar playing. As always, you can see the guitars we were talking about by going to Star Guitar Podcast on Instagram. You can also find out more about the episodes by following Star Guitar Pod on Twitter, or you can email me at starguitarpodcast@gmail.com if you've got any comments, nice ones only. Please subscribe wherever you got the podcast from, and if you're feeling really generous, please leave a comment or rating wherever that might be. As for Charles, you can find out more about what he's doing by following him on Twitter at charleswatson2_, or going to charleswatson.bandcamp.com. As for Star Guitar, there's one more episode next week, and it's a really, really good one. So please come back for it. Until then, bye-bye.